more minute.
You're on.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started today. Thank y'all for joining this virtual meeting that we've been putting on during this pandemic. It's just a opportunity that we can kind of make a platform to provide you guys some guidance on what's going on with the restaurants and how you can continue to, operate your kitchens. So today is May the 24th, 2021. First of all, I just like to thank all of you for being a part, and we hope we can provide you some important information today about some operation guidance measurement. The Brunswick County Food Safety Team consists of myself, Danny Thornton, Bobby Johnson, Cheryl Syracuse, Lynn Evlington, Megan Cassatt, Allison Campbell, and Rachel Baldwin. Some of our team members won't be here today because they have conflicts in their meetings. In their schedule, but we're going to provide you their updates as well. So during this presentation, if you have a question or whatnot, please write it in the chat box or just kind of speak out during the middle of the presentation, and we'll try to answer any questions that you may have. So the overview of what we're going to talk about today is the executive order. We're going to talk a little bit about Cooperative Extension safe plates, give an update on some environmental health topics. We're moving into the summer season, so we thought it might be helpful to talk a little bit about cold holding temperatures. And then we'll also give an update about Certified Food Protection Manager certificates. We're going to speak a little bit about the vaccine eligibilities, update on the vaccination clinics, and some CDC quarantine guidances for fully vaccinated individuals. So Executive Order 215, what we're really getting into up here with this executive order is listing some of our restrictions for COVID-19. Restaurants can go back to their capacity restriction and their regular capacity operating, and they also can remove the social distancing requirements. So those both have been lifted. Although they've been lifted, obviously they are recommendations to try to continue putting them in place as much as you can possibly put them in place, but executive order has lifted them and moved them to recommendations. For face covering requirements, most settings, they are lifted. And I will say restaurants are one of those areas where they have been lifted at. Once again, we would encourage and recommend each business to operate as they will. If they would like to continue having face coverings on, they can. But the executive order now allows individuals or patrons to move around the space in the restaurants without a face covering. This executive order became effective May 14th, 2021 at 1:30, and it will remain effective until June 11th, 2021 at 5 p.m. And obviously this subject to change, with any new information from the CDC guidance or maybe additional executive orders. So Cheryl, if you wouldn't mind taking the floor over with your Cooperative Extension.
Sure, just a real quick update. Several people have been asking about the food safety manager training and getting food safety manager certified. And we do have the Safe Plates program from North Carolina Cooperative Extension, a special program for food safety managers designed for here in North Carolina. Everybody's been asking for classes, and at this point, it does not look like we're going to do classes. Maybe later in the fall, maybe later in the fall, but definitely not in the near future. So in the meantime, for folks that need certification, we do have an online program available through North Carolina State University. You can take the links from our Cooperative Extension website, and I put that in the chat, or people can just give me a call or drop me an email and I'll make sure you get the links. The fee is $125, and that includes all of the training. There are 10 modules that people can watch on their own 24/7. They can also watch it 365 days from the day they sign up. But what we found so far, we have certified some folks that have used this program already. What we found is if the managers or the dietary manager are really encouraging their folks and perhaps even giving them some time to do the studying on their own, people are more inclined to get it done. And then we are offering the test. The $125 includes the test and proctoring. So folks can get themselves certified for just the $125. And we are proctoring at the Cooperative Extension building in Bolivia at least once a month. So also on our website, there are the dates that we're testing folks. The tests are take about 2 hours. And the dates, we have a date scheduled every month for the rest of the year. So hopefully we can have that work with people's schedules and get folks certified as soon as possible. As I said, we've had 6 folks do it and 6 folks pass already since we've started doing this virtual program. So that's great news. So anybody that has questions, please drop me a note, give me a call, and we can get you linked up with the North Carolina state system.
Great. Bobby, if you want to go ahead with your slides.
Okay. Part of this meeting, what we wanted to do is review some commonly marked things with the upcoming inspections that are occurring now in the summer months. And one of those commonly marked violations is cold holding. So just kind of want to go over that and give you some reminders for assessing cold holding and addressing it if you find this as a problem in your establishment. So what we've done today is we've broken cold holding up into 3 factors. They include food, processes, and equipment. And starting with food, what you want to do is just remind your staff to take temperatures often to assess if the equipment's working properly. When you're training your staff on using thermometers, you want to make sure it's properly calibrated, but also remember to clean and sanitize that food thermometer. You want to treat it like any other food contact surface. So you can do that by using some alcohol swabs and cleaning it, or using your sanitizer. So check that staff aren't overfilling the food containers. There's usually, like in the first picture, a display case is going to have a level where the food should be stacked to, and that's going to help the airflow go through that product. So just make sure they're not overstacking the product. You can look through your coolers when you're taking temperatures to see if there's a warmer area of your cooler and colder areas, and adjust your food storage like that. And maybe just keep your non-TCS foods, such as condiments, such as mayonnaise, ketchup, mustard in the front part of the cooler, and your colder parts of the cooler, keep your TCS foods. You can look through your cooler to determine which food is needed less frequently, and maybe move that food to what we call long-term storage, such as reach-in coolers and walk-in coolers. Their prep coolers display cases are usually going to be your short-term service for that day's use. And when you're assessing your equipment, I usually tell people in the summer, just if you've got somebody who checks your refrigeration, it'd be a good idea to have them go ahead and do that prior to the summer when you get busy and when you're in and out of the coolers. So check your compressor fans and make sure they're not blocked. Your airflow is going through the whole product, through the whole unit. And just step back and kind of watch your staff and see, a lot of what we see with cold holding violations is a behavior issue, where maybe people are leaving the doors open, not shutting prep cooler lids, sitting things on top of containers where the airflow just doesn't get to the product. So just watch your staff, see what they're doing there, and maybe just have some additional training. Some equipment's only meant to be purchased in air temperatures, ambient air temperatures that doesn't go above 85 degrees. So just make sure what you're purchasing is appropriate for the kitchen that you're in. Frequently check equipment for maintenance, such as is cooling needed. Check your door gaskets. Are the door gaskets cleaned? Do the coils need to be cleaned? Are they dusty? And is there adequate airflow outside of the prep cooler for intake? So sometimes people will take a unit and put it in a storage building where it's too hot and it can't recuperate like it needs to, or they'll put it in a tight part of the kitchen where it doesn't get that air space. So just some reminders for your equipment there. Right, the next one's going to be processes. You want to ensure that food items that have been prepared prior to service are cooled back to 41 before placing on display coolers, prep coolers, and salad bars. So if you're taking products out such as whole tomatoes or melons, you want to pre-chill those ingredients. If you're making something like a tuna salad with a canned food, even your mayonnaise, your relish, that could all be pre-chilled to 41 degrees. So when you're taking it out for prep and the temperature may rise a little bit, you don't want to have it in the temperature danger zone for too long. So putting it back in the cooler to pre-chill it before you put it out on your prep coolers or your display cases is a good idea. Another thing you can use as an option is time as a public health control. So that can be used if you have a prep cooler that cannot maintain 41 or below. That is something that requires a written procedure. And I would just suggest, if you're seeing that, to reach out to your environmental health specialist and just work with them to develop some procedures and written policies for that. You can also go a step further by arranging packaged items such as dressing cups that can be moved away from the top of the prep cooler to allow for that airflow to keep all of your food at 41 or below. Next thing I wanted to review is the Certified Food Protection Manager training. Cheryl just talked a little bit about this with ServSafe. The guidance that was submitted by the Department of Public Health last year kind of put restrictions on us taking points. We would assess that violations are there for Certified Food Protection Manager certificates that had expired after May the 1st, 2020, and we would do out and 0 points just because people were having a hard time with social distancing, reduced classes, classes not being offered at all. With the restrictions being lifted and some things returning back to a normal state, the state has sent out guidance recently that beginning July 1st, 2021, points can still be deducted for Certified Food Protection Manager certificates. So now that there are opportunities to get out there and be able to attend a class, there will no longer be out and 0 points for that. One thing that I did want to add in addition to that, anytime a transitional permit is issued, you do have 180 days to get that certification. If a new permit is issued for a new establishment, there's 210 days to get that certification. I think that's everything I had, Danny.
We're moving to Megan if she's joined us. If I think I asked Rachel, if you don't mind, Rachel, can you go ahead? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'll fill in for Megan. So this is just about current vaccine eligibility. We've moved past the phase where we're going into groups and all that good stuff. Pretty much anybody who is 12 and up who wants a vaccine can pretty much get it at this point. All community members age 18 and older are eligible to receive any of the 3 COVID-19 vaccines. And community members age 12 through 17 are able to get the Pfizer vaccine. If you have any questions and about an appointment, you can call our COVID hotline at 910-253-2339. And eligible individuals and their parents or guardians can now schedule an appointment online as well as the phone as well. And I think the websites there's Brunswick County nc.gov/vaccines. I think once you go to that website, there's a little blue button that you click on that will take you to the website where you can schedule your appointment. And again, that's the call line there for you, and it's open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And right now we are giving vaccines at the Brunswick Community College location at the Odell Williams Auditorium, beside the Odell Williams Auditorium. And speaking of getting vaccinated, there's many benefits, obviously, but one of the main benefits of getting vaccinated and what has helped a lot of our our restaurant owners is that fully vaccinated individuals who are asymptomatic do not have to quarantine if they are exposed. I know we've had experience in the past with some of the restaurants having to completely close down because they have gotten one or two individuals that had tested positive who exposed, all their staff members essentially. So we had to quarantine those staff members, but now we have a vaccine. And if those individuals are fully vaccinated at the time of their exposure, they do not have to quarantine. So that could potentially save, restaurant owners from having to shut down. And this is the definition of what fully vaccinated means. If you are getting a 2-dose series vaccine, either Pfizer or Moderna, you're considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after you receive the second dose. If you received a 1-dose vaccine like Johnson & Johnson, it's 2 weeks after you receive that single dose. Now, if a fully vaccinated person has COVID-19 symptoms, they should be treated like any other person who has COVID-19 symptoms. They should be isolated. They should isolate themselves and be clinically evaluated for COVID-19 and tested for COVID-19 if needed. And like we had said before, those with that have been exposed and have no COVID-19 symptoms do not have to quarantine.
So that kind of wraps up our presentation for the day. I did want to share some information with you about some websites if you wanted to find some more guidance on how to operate your places that serve food. There's a website here that you can obtain, and it'll give you the guidance on how to operate a restaurant or an establishment that serves food. And then obviously your disinfectant and you count on me, and then the same website link that we showed earlier on how to schedule your shot. So in summary, it's still, we want to talk about the 3 W's. I know that's not, some of those restrictions have been relaxed. Just don't want to forget about them. Obviously there may be some businesses that still want to operate using the 3 W's, and that's definitely some of CDC's recommendations, but those restrictions have been relaxed. So with that being the end of my presentation, the last thing I wanted to share that I didn't have up here because it just came out this morning was email, and I tried to share that email with y'all this morning regarding the Small Business Association, and that if I can find that email, I'll pull it up right quick. But it's the revitalization for restaurants is pretty much what that was, and don't see it right here. I thought I had it pulled up already where I could easily get to it, but I do not see it. Let me go to my sent items and I can pull it up. So I don't know if you still see my screen or not, but this is the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. The one thing I did want to point out is May the 24th, which is today at 8 p.m. is whenever that eligibility ends for being able to apply. So you can just click on these links here to learn more about it. I just wanted to share that as well. So if anyone has any questions now, or I'll be glad to try to answer them as best as we can.
Yes, Danny?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Steve Nahas from Tibbers again. I just wanted to clarify one thing from my reading. When it comes to the disinfecting of surfaces, that's still going to be enforced, correct? I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is that normally tabletops and such needed to be cleaned between uses. With the COVID, we were disinfecting between uses. So we're staying with the disinfectant on tabletops, is that correct? I'm sorry, I got a phone. Go ahead.
It is my understanding, and Bobby, you can chime in any minute that you want to, but the frequency of disinfecting, high touch surfaces has been relaxed. They still encourage it, and they still are recommending that you disinfect those high touch surfaces. But as far as I understand, it's not as frequently as it was requested in the past. And so they're recommending you to continue to use disinfectant, but it can be reduced at a less frequent action.
As opposed to between each seating.
That's correct.
I think, Danny, it was, I think the latest guidance was once a day.
I think that is right.
I
Yeah.
think I can look that,
Well,
the latest guidance out and send it to him by email. I think it was once a day.
Okay. The guidance that we had received during the COVID was that tables need to be disinfected in between each seating. And so we've been using a peroxide disinfectant on the tables prior to reseating the table each time. Is that, it's obviously a nice thing to continue, I'm sure, but I'm just wondering if that's going to be something that we need to maintain.
As far as
in other words, I'm sorry, go ahead.
To answer your question, yes, you do still need to disinfect. I don't think that's something that we're moving completely away from.
As opposed to sanitizing is what I'm saying, Danny.
Yes, in opposed to sanitizing, that's correct.
Okay.
But it does not have to be in between each sitting, each patron, and it doesn't have to be as frequently as they were recommending it at the beginning.
Okay, real good. The only other question I had was about vaccinations. We are encouraging our employees to get vaccinated. Many already have, and we've relaxed the masks. Those who have been fully vaccinated don't have to wear masks. Those that haven't been vaccinated, we're still requiring them to wear masks.
That is correct.
Then that's the way we're operating right now. I'm sorry?
Yeah, I think I did leave that piece off, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Mhm.
If you're not fully vaccinated, they are still requiring you to wear a mask.
Okay, very good. That's one thing I want to do. And we were making copies of vaccination cards to keep along with our health agreement records that we have for our employees, the form that they sign that they're supposed to let us know if they're sick or whatever, the health records.
Yes, yeah.
The employee health agreement.
Yes, the agreement.
Yes. Okay.
So we are keeping copies of their vaccination cards along with them. Is this something that the health department's going to be looking at?
No, we can't require that as part of the executive order requirements. So I certainly think it's good for you as an employer to keep up with that, but that is not something we're going to look at. We will still continue to look at the employee health policy agreement.
Health policy.
Now, that information is helpful to have in case you have an exposure event or someone tests positive, because then the nursing staff will go over close contact information with you. So that would be something good for you to have as a manager or owner to identify people who've been vaccinated versus non-vaccinated for that close contact guidance.
Okay, so we'll continue to do that. Okay. And I guess the only other thing I have to say is that are we out of this by July or what?
That would be great.
I default to Rachel.
I hope it's better by then. I mean, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I can't say that we'll be completely out of it by July.
Rachel, are we seeing people that are vaccinated becoming positive?
We've had a couple of cases. I will say it seems to be mild if they are, or they're either completely asymptomatic. So, I mean, it's not totally unheard of, but it seems to be, keeping people out of the hospital and preventing deaths. So that's the most important thing.
But as Danny was saying earlier, if you do have someone that's vaccinated and they've tested positive, they do have to quarantine.
Yes. We actually call that isolating. But yes,
Okay.
they're still considered contagious.
Thank you for your questions. Great questions, Steve.
Okay.
Anyone else got any questions they would like to bring up to the table? All right, well, the last thing I said, the final thing was, but I do have one more thing I want to talk about. And that's this platform that we're providing right now. We have prepared a survey, and it's in the works of getting finalized, so I can share it with you guys. But we would really like some feedback, seeing, if you enjoy this type of platform for future meetings, or if there's another way that y'all would like for us to present information to you guys. The count on me is kind of it's run its toll now. This is not really a count on me Brunsco meeting any longer. We want to kind of move away from that program altogether, but I do see some some positive things for us being able to meet as a group, and if this is a good way of doing it, or if it's us just providing a PowerPoint presentation to you guys, whatever is the best method to get information to you. But we just want to keep this dialogue open as best as we can, and where y'all can, it's not just us bringing information to you guys, but if y'all got questions about different things that y'all got going on, that y'all can ask one another and ask us to see if we could figure out some answers for you guys. That's the last thing I do have, is we are going to try to put a survey out there in the email, and we are not planning on having another one of these meetings until probably the fall of this year.